Payments are going digital, but can market infrastructures keep pace? Do they need updating? Do they have the right standards? In this next chapter, we talk to SWIFT, the financial messaging provider, about its Global Payments Innovation Initiative. Used by 11,000 financial institutions across the world, SWIFT's messaging services are at the heart of global finance. That's why the bank-owned cooperative aims to be at the forefront of digital change. So we have the challenge of digitalisation in the payments industry, but do you think the market infrastructure is actually up to the job?
Well, I think the market infrastructures in the payments industry are up to the job for the time being, but it's true that customer expectations and the environment is changing quite rapidly. And
all right, so what needs to be done then?
Well, it's interesting to see that there's a number of operators of market infrastructures, the ECB, the Fed and the Bank of England on the payments side, have been launching fairly wide-ranging consultations about what the market infrastructures of the future should look like. So clearly that problem is in their sights, asking some fairly fundamental questions.
And what sort of questions are they asking then?
So, for example, what should be the participation in market infrastructures? Should it be limited just to banks, or should other kinds of party be involved? What should be the opening hours? What should be the functionality of those market infrastructures? Is it purely about passing payments or transactions, or are there other things that the market infrastructures could do for their communities?
Okay, so if we want to see this new world of digital payments, what sorts of solutions do we need?
Well, certainly in the cross-border world, which is where SWIFT has its strongest interest. In the correspondent banking world, the Global Payments Innovation Initiative is something that we're working on.
Okay, and this has just come up, and it's between a number of banks and SWIFT. So tell us a little bit about what the intention is.
So it's 56 major banks, global banks, all in the correspondent banking business, with SWIFT acting as a coordinator and also as a technology provider. And the idea of it is to improve the customer experience for cross-border payments, for correspondent banking payments. And that's in a number of different ways. One is same-day use of funds, to try and make sure the money gets there faster. The second is transparency on charges, which has been a bit of a bugbear. And then finally, it's on tracking. It's on being able to offer the person making the payment or the institution making the payment the ability to find out where that payment is in the processing chain, and finally when it reaches the beneficiary to know with certainty that that's happened.
So do you see the industry taking up this initiative across the board?
Well, we certainly hope so. I think that we are going to see plenty of banks implementing this initiative. Whether it will finally cover all global payments, we don't know, but certainly we expect it to take over a fair proportion. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, what about the market infrastructure? I mean, does it have the right standards in place to achieve this?
Well, the payments market infrastructures around the world have recently all been adopting the same standard, that's ISO 20022. So that's very much emerging as the default choice for any new market infrastructure or for any refreshed market infrastructure as well. And that's both globally, and that covers both high value and low value payments. So yes, there's a common standard that's being picked up by the market infrastructure community.
All right, but I mean, that sounds like it's the finished article. But I mean, sometimes these things don't quite go how they're envisaged. Do you see problems in that area at all?
Not yet, but there is the danger that because the different market infrastructures might implement the standard differently, that we'll see fragmentation, which really cuts against the benefit of having the standard in the first place.
All right, and what can we do to ensure that there's an even implementation then across the market infrastructures?
So SWIFT is working with the market infrastructure community from a standards point of view to bring them together to work on harmonization. So harmonization of the way in which they use the standard, the version of the standard they use, and so on. So that for the global banks who have to connect to multiple market infrastructures, they get a common experience.
Okay. Now, I mean, what you're holding up here is the prospect perhaps of instant payments. We're starting to see that on the domestic front. Mm-hmm. Could we ever see a world in which cross-border payments are also done instantly or in real time? Do you think that's on the cards?
It could be, but I don't think it's a possibility in the near future. I mean, it's certainly true that in the domestic payment space, there's plenty of countries that are setting up instant payment schemes, and they're very popular with domestic customers and for retail payments. One question is whether from a corporate point of view for cross-border, whether instant is really necessary. I mean, already same-day use of funds would be great. And also there are a number of obstacles to overcome if you want to go cross-border with instant. You need to think about who's going to do currency conversion and how that's going to happen. You need to think about the different regulations in the different countries that you have to comply with. And finally, you have to think about compliance screening. So when payments move between countries, they have to be screened, and that makes it very difficult to offer an instant service.
So same-day funds may do us on this front then. We probably don't need to have instant funds on the cross-border payments front.
That certainly seems to be what's exciting the corporate customers at the moment.
And what about the ease of tracking? I mean, that must be an important advantage.
Yes, that certainly is important, and it's something that has been described many times, similar to the notion that when you order something on Amazon and you get a link to the person who's going to be sending that parcel, you know where that parcel's got to. People want exactly the same kind of information for payments. They want to know where that payment has got to, and really ultimately to know when it's been paid as well.
And would this provide the customer with a better source of data as well?
Yeah, very much so. I think that there's plenty of instances where customers are phoning their banks to find out where a payment's got to. They want to know maybe the beneficiary is on the phone. So being able to find that information easily and routinely, I think, is going to be very, very helpful. Yeah.
Okay, we look forward to seeing the world of cross-border payments take on the world of Amazon.
Thank you very much.